Hello, and welcome to the Trade Finance Distribution Initiative podcast. My name is Doris Kononowicz. We're just under 1 month away from the Trade Finance Investor Day. And of course, we can't wait to see everyone gather together this year in Jumeirah, Carlton Towers to enjoy what has been prepared and put together by the TFDi team. And today with me, I have the TFDi chair, André Casterman, and together we've been an agenda that hopefully everyone's going to come and enjoy come November 10 this year. André, lovely to have you here.
Great to be here with you, Doris. And indeed, this is our third edition. Will be exciting again.
Yes, it's been a long road to October, I think, since the first month that we talked about, creating another version of this event. And we just wanted to give people a sneak peek of what to expect this year. This year, we've chosen a very specific theme, which is integrating asset-backed lending into corporate supply chains. André, let's dig into a little bit about why this was the theme for this year's event.
Yes, it is indeed an important theme because more and more the industry need to look at involving institutional liquidity into those who really need it, which are the corporates. And this can be done in various ways. So we're going to put the corporate and the institutional investors at the center of our debates. And I'd like to make a promise to our audience and to our delegates is to offer content again this year that you have never seen elsewhere. So we're going to have new people, new themes, and experts that are indeed active in B2B corporate supply chains and active on the asset management side, allocating liquidity to specific geographic corridors, to specific industry segments. And that is really the most important at this stage, is making sure we don't put the bank at the middle of the conversation, but we put the corporates in need of working capital finance for sustainable growth, basically. And that liquidity can be offered by banks, but also by institutional investors.
And we're seeing a big growth, like even within the TFDi membership. This year, we've seen about 40 new members join, a lot of them non-bank lenders, a lot of them entering the spaces. So it's not just what bankers can provide, but opening up that field and that conversation. And some of the topics that we're going to be looking at this year, such as maritime energy, we have a little bit on defense, security and resilience. We have on tokenization, RWA at the event. What's been the secret sauce in terms of putting together these topics for this year's event?
Yes, indeed. We'll have 24 experts on stage through a total of 8 sessions. And basically, the goal is to make sure that we gather those who are working on contributing to attracting more institutional liquidity to the corporate space. But often those people have never met. So the event is not just about learning about what's happening in the industry on that particular theme, but also to meet new potential business partners. Originators need institutional investors. Institutional investors are looking for more assets to allocate liquidity to. So these are the people we want to gather at the event, and some of them will be on stage talking indeed, in particular the non-bank originators, talking indeed how they are increasing transparency in specific industries such as bunkering, or mitigating risks in particular geographies, such as the China-Europe corridors, and trying to convince institutional investors that the way they conduct their business can be trusted in terms of transaction data being delivered to potential funders, and how they are using securitization to add skin in the game. So I think the collaborative angle has been highlighted many times in the industry, and securitization is a way basically to expand the collaborative approach through trenching, whereby originators in some cases organize first loss structures, which can be delivered to risk investors from a liquidity point of view, and next to credit insurers, of course, and with senior tranches being offered to liquidity investors. So this collaborative angle and approach is a standard practice in many asset classes, but in trade, it's still to be scaled. Recently, we had a great testimonial by the World Bank IFC on their $510 million transaction using tranche securitization, and also demonstrating how public-private partnerships can be organized through securitization. Of course, we're going to talk about new technologies as well, like tokenization, which is, in my view, digital equivalent of securitization. So the concept stays the same, but the rails are different. And we're going to have indeed emerging platforms and non-bank lenders investing a lot on tokenization to expand the pool of available investors. So as you see, we combine traditional finance players, new token focused investors to indeed look at ways to extend a collaborative angle into the trade industry.
And a lot of these conversations are very topical now because we're also looking at the geopolitical climate and how different markets are being affected by innovation and different sources of innovation. You've just mentioned tokenization. Like, why is this a topic that, we continue to talk about at the TFDi, do you think?
Yeah, this topic is progressing very much in capital markets, real world asset tokenization, securitization across multiple asset classes. And I think in trade, we need to surf on this wave. It's a serious wave by top capital market firms, but it is applied today mainly in liquid asset classes. We know trade is far more illiquid. This is why I have asked very specialized non-bank originators to demonstrate how they are able to offer this level of transparency and trust and risk mitigation capabilities, processes, so that investors would be more tempted to benefit from the risk reward formulas that they have to offer. Then whether we attract investors through a regular MRPA or through securitization or tokenization, I see them all, of course, as very relevant, complementing each other. And it's important to offer choice to the market, because the ones will prefer one option versus the other. We have just to offer a choice to the market and sometimes combine the use of those different techniques. So I think it's up to the trade space, working capital finance for corporates, to look at applying those very well-established practices. And I'm very keen on the recent announcement, as I just said, by the IFC, because it sets an example of how indeed various investors, risk at junior and liquidity at senior level, can work together on trade space, trade receivables or inventory financing space.
And Andre, before I let you go, this event is going to see about 150 professionals in the room. From your perspective, what sets it apart from other events out there that are currently in the market? It's been event season for the last few months, from Singapore to the Nordics and all around the world, and now back to the UK. What is it that people who are attending this event need to expect? And what is it that they can expect to also keep hearing from the TFDi?
So trade as an asset class has been a topic I've been hearing about and working on in a way since 15 years, 2010 approximately, through the ICC. We have been debating at industry level through BAFT, ITFA, ICC about this theme, in particular focusing on what's in it for banks to engage with institutional investors, and that has progressed a lot. Now, I think the debate has to expand to the non-bank lenders, to those who are really supporting corporate supply chains, such as freight forwarders, traders, sourcing partners, B2B platforms, such as electronic documentation platforms in the transport shipping world, and making sure that we can help them add value, such as transaction data visibility, to institutional investors so they can also support the growth of institutional liquidity in trade. So that can go then through banks or through non-bank lenders, but the opportunity is to tap into information that is available in corporate supply chains and how to leverage that information to increase transparency and resilience. So we're going to be far more specific at this event, such as focusing on bunkering, as we said, on defense, on the use of asset-backed securitization. And we're going to put the corporates and the investors at the center of the debate, not the bank.
And there'll be great networking. That's one of the things I love most about our events. There are always lots of opportunities to network, to find new partners, find new business, interact with the team, learn a little bit more. And also, just put out your questions out there, in form of a question and answer session. gain some insight. And this is really what the TFDi does, really bringing this ecosystem together, bringing this community together, creating a space for conversation, creating a space for enlightenment and for growth within this market. André, thank you so much for sharing with us what we can expect from the TFDi's Trade Finance Investor Day 2025. For anyone else out there who's wondering what's going to happen and you'd be interested in joining, please make sure you register as soon as possible on the website tradefinancedistribution.com, and we'll see you there in November. André, again, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Doris, and thanks also to our 13 partners who are supporting this event.